So in this one, we're going to be doing my little reaction deal to the DCU slate going forward. It's called Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. Everyone else is doing like hour-long videos on this. Like, shout out Nando, do an hour-long video. Haven't watched it. I don't feel like watching an hour-long video. And I can't record my honest reaction if I have watched other people's honest reactions. So here we go. It's going to be short. We're going to keep it to the point. Go.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love, that resets the entire DC universe. And then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of...
Okay, I just want to know, how are we going to keep Aquaman and Flash if we're resetting the universe? How are we keeping, alright, we can keep Shazam, because Shazam has never actually interacted face-to-face with any other characters. And shout out The Rock, because you probably fucked yourself on this one, buddy. If you would have actually had Shazam cameo in Black Adam, you probably would have been part of the DCU, so let's all give a round of applause to The Rock, everybody. Good job, bud. Good job. So, if we're gonna do a reboot, why are we keeping Ezra Miller as the Flash? Why is Jason Momoa still Aquaman? But we got rid of Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck as Superman and Batman, respectively. Gal Gadot is no longer Wonder Woman as well. So, I don't understand how this is a reboot. If we're keeping only half of the cast, are we keeping people that we think are going to be easy to work with? Was Henry not easy to work with? I don't understand the mentality, especially since Ezra Miller has enough felonies to, I don't know. He's got so many charges against him. Claiming mental health does not help ease that, okay? Being like, oh, I'm going to therapy. Yeah, okay. So do serial killers. They're still serial killers, right? Therapy's not going to change that. You're still a bad person. I don't know. Let's see what they do.
Very talented writers have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television,
8 to 10 years sounds like a long time.
This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now this, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos.
Dumb.
Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller.
Okay, Creature Commandos looks like shit off rip. I don't think I'm going to even touch it. It looks like hot garbage. It's animated, and it's also Creature Commandos. It's like the DC knockoff of Howling Commandos. Really goofy. I don't even know what the Creature Commandos are. I might do adjunct videos on top of this to figure out what these characters are and put up in-depth things. Because I'm pretty sure that was Robot Man. Weasel's, of course, in it because James Gunn can't make a movie without slamming his brother into it. I don't know what the other one was. Frankenmonster? I don't know. Goofy.
This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Alright, so we're keeping Viola Davis as well as Waller. Is this a reboot or not, Gunn? I need you to stop saying it's a reboot of the DCU. And I need that to stop being your reason for saying you got rid of Cavill when you were keeping everybody but Cavill. It makes no sense. Give me better clarity.
Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that a picture from Superman versus the Elite? Isn't that from that comic book? Is that where they're going with this? Superman Legacy? They're doing young Superman. I hope they're actually doing a young Clark, though. Although, can they do a young Clark if Aquaman and Flash already know Clark? I don't... Come on.
Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth.
How are we doing Green Lanterns on Earth? Like, I know they patrol Earth. Like, all planets have a Green Lantern. Well, all sectors have a Green Lantern. Alright, off rip, we're going to have 2 Green Lanterns, maybe more, in this sector, and they're patrolling Earth exclusively. It's terrestrial based. Doesn't that defeat the purpose of what makes Green Lantern cool? Like, sky-high adventures and going to other planets. John takes over when Hal goes off-world. And then when John eventually goes off-world too, we get Guy Gardner. Why are we having 2 at the same time still on Earth?
In it,
So many
they
questions.
discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DC.
I'm happy to see Lanterns.
Next is a
but
big movie called The Authority. The
fuck is this?
Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all.
What's a Wildstorm? I have never heard of The Authority. Is this Hawkgirl? Maybe? I don't... Obviously, a Superman fill-in. Those wires out of her hair? Is she like a computer? Captain Britain in the DC universe? And what is this? Batman ripoff? I don't understand why they're doing ripoffs of their characters when they own these characters. Alright, hit play, hit play.
Of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series.
Is the Authority fill-ins for the Elite in that Superman movie? But if Superman fights them in that movie, if he already fights the Elite or the Authority, not just rip-offs of the Elite? Because what he just described is they think the world's broken, they're going to fix it by any means necessary. That was the Elite's whole thing in the comics. Was they're like, you need to actually kill your villains. Otherwise you're not doing anything right. I don't know.
Series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder
Themyscira
Woman.
wrong.
It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island.
Was there men on Themyscira? I thought it was always Amazonian ruled. Also, how is he comparing it to Westeros? That's setting the bar way too high. Not that y'all can't write, but I don't think you're at the caliber of writing that George R.R. Martin is when it comes to telling political intrigue stories. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll prove me wrong.
Silent. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family.
Okay, so why are we recasting Batman again? I swear, I've seen so many Batmans in my lifetime, and I'm only 21. I've lived through 3 Batmans in my life. I'm about to get a 4th, and I've only been here 21 years. This is absurd. I don't need another Batman. We just did a reboot of Batman. Fucking The Batman with Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson. was the best Batman movie we have had. How are you going to push that to the side when that could have been the centerpiece of your universe going forward? And instead, we're skipping. Why are we skipping Nightwing? Why are we? Right, we're skipping Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake, and we're going straight to Damian. God, jeez, why? I don't understand. Especially, whatever. I'm not gonna understand it, I guess.
In the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future
Never once
who
have I cared
uses
about Booster
future
Gold.
technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science
I've never
fiction
heard of this
epic
comic. I
film.
don't read DC.
Now, Superman is a
modern
guy
DC.
who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character.
Oh, God.
And that brings me to Swamp.
Why did they change her origin? What happened to the Phantom Zone? Why did we decide to do that to her? What, dude, fucking, I don't care about Supergirl. Give me Wonder Woman. Give me super heroines that aren't just gender swapped lamos. Huntress? Artemis? Whatever, man. I'm really not hyped for most of these.
Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about,
This
a
one
very
especially.
dark
Really?
horror
Swamp
story in
Thing
the
film?
origins of the monster.
Are we just
who
going to ignore the
is
Swamp Thing
Swamp
TV show
Thing.
they already did?
And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
So that's not even the full slate of what's going on. It's hard to be hyped for most of these. That's just my opinion. I'd like to hear yours in the comment section below. Do the YouTube thing, like, subscribe, or hit the dislike button. Whatever you gotta do, I need to know whether or not these videos are actually working for you guys or not. And remember to, most importantly, stay opinionated.